Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. My virtual obsession, my romantic thriller, is now available on Amazon and other online retailers. This book explores the intersection of loneliness, love, and how chasing perfection through technology can lead to fantasy and reality colliding. My virtual obsession out now. Hey everyone, it's Catherine Cristani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I'm joined by the delightful Arielle Moody. While pregnant with her first child, shocked by how many toxic ingredients were lurking in everyday products, and after trying dozens of natural mineral sunscreens, Arielle was determined to create one that didn't make her immediately want to wash her face. And two, she didn't want to leave a white cast on her skin, which I know definitely from zinc sunscreens you end up with that, so resonate with that fully. And it needed to be something that she looked forward to using daily. No biggie. So, as Mama Soul's product development whisperer, Arielle has been immersed in the beauty industry her entire adult life, starting as a beauty sales trainer for Smashbox, Dr. Perricone, and Bite Beauty, then rising to become the head of product development to Skin Cosmetics, and most recently the head of sales for a leading cosmetic packaging and formulation company. She's always known one thing, that one day she would create her own product, something truly different that had never been seen before. And alas, here she is today sharing her beautiful product with us. So a big welcome to the show, Arielle.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So I guess the first question is, what do you create at Mama Souls?
So we create 100% mineral formulas, SPF formulations. And like you said, when I was pregnant, I just found so many toxic ingredients in sunscreen. They were found in breast milk, causing skin allergies, cell damage, and destroying our coral reefs, which I'm sure, as you know, in Australia, that's a big deal. So I have a ton of background in beauty. And so I hired a chemist and I created a line on my own. So we have face sunscreen, lip sunscreen. We are in the process of reformulating our body sunscreen. And then really exciting news is we're launching 2 new products April 9th of 2026.
Which is really, really exciting. So by the time people are listening to this, your new products will be out, which is
They will
awesome.
be.
And as a mum, and so I have never been able to wear sunscreen. Like I used to wear it when I was younger because it was expected, and then I just found it made my skin break out, and I actually just put it down to I was allergic to it. So I love the timing of this because out here, a lot of the sunscreens have now been reported to have issues and be causing cancer.
Right.
And I've been saying this for years. And now it's coming out, and they were trying it. These companies, I'm not going to label them because I don't want a lawsuit, but these companies were trying to say, oh, it was just a batch. It was just a batch that was found to be like this when it wasn't. So it's really, but the zinc ones, it's a zinc based one. It's really
Yes.
heavy, like you said, and it has that white coating, and it's really hard to make it look like I'm not wearing a ton of sunscreen because you've had to rub it in so hard to get it to
Well,
actually.
welcome to Mama Soul because that is not the case here. So our formulas are really lightweight. They blend in clear. All of our formulas have been clinically tested on either over 100 people, or our lip oils have been tested over 50 people. 50% with sensitive skin. That includes acne, eczema, rosacea. We've had 0 skin reactions across the board. Harper's Bazaar voted our sunscreen top 10 and top 9 this past year. So 2 years in a row, best for sensitive skin. Also won best for pregnant and nursing moms. And then on the other hand, Women's Health Magazine voted us best for dry skin. So we are not only good for sensitive skin, we're good for dry skin. We're really good for all skin types. That's one of my favorite feedback though that we do get, is just how women that haven't been able to use any other sunscreens can use ours.
Yeah, which is such a beautiful thing to know because being
Yeah.
someone that's been through all of that and actually cares about, like you said, the toxins that we put on the skin, and we
Yeah.
don't realize, especially like makeup, and as for women, makeup and sunscreen are 2 of the biggest things that, and our skin's our biggest organ, and a lot of people
That's right.
forget that.
That's right. Yep.
And I guess too, like our skin absorbs so much, and people don't realize that it is so absorbent. So you have to be really conscious of what you're putting on it.
I always say, because women get really like they start freaking out, especially if you're pregnant or nursing, or really just if you're trying to live a cleaner life. You're like, there's just so many things in your cabinet or in your kitchen or wherever that you feel like you have to change out. So I say the number, like prioritize what you use every single day. Sunscreen, shampoo and conditioner, hand soaps, things like that that you're putting on your skin every day. That's what I make sure that I really take a second look at the ingredient list. So that's why sunscreen was just so important to me, not only because it prevents cancer, which is so profound in itself, but also just because it's something everyone should be using every single day, right? So start somewhere. I would start there.
That is such sage advice because, yeah, it can be overwhelming when you start looking in your cupboards and you're like,
Yeah,
how
right.
much toxins have I secretly let into my life?
Well, you'll go crazy and you probably don't, most people don't have the budget to be revamping their entire, makeup, skincare, cleaning cabinets. It's just unrealistic. So trying to help a sister out here.
Exactly. And especially like what we put on our hands. I know we're talking about sunscreen, but what we
Yeah.
put on our hands too. And
This
I
and our sunscreen, you can use it on your kids too. So we're relaunching our body sunscreen in the fall, which will be going into your summer. But that will really be what's best for use of your kids. Our face sunscreen you can use on your kids. I use it on mine. If you have teenage girls, you'll love our tinted lip oils. But yeah, no, I get that question a lot, like, can we use it on our kids? And I say sure. I mean, it just depends, like in the US, we sell our face sunscreen for $48. It's high-end luxury. It's sold in places like the Four Seasons, Fairmont Hotels, Montage, Auberge. We just launched on bloomingdales.com. So we're more like luxury line. I say if you're okay to use that on your kids, do it.
well, yeah, and if you're happy to put it on your body, well,
Right.
you're happy to put it on your kid's
Exactly.
body too.
Sure. Exactly.
And I want to ask about the lavender because I know I commented on that. So what does the lavender signify in your background?
Okay, so I'm a busy mom of two, and when I'm getting ready in the morning, I really was thinking to myself, like, how can I make sunscreen more of like a wellness ritual, right? Something that you're look forward to using. And so I thought, like, what scent really grounds me? And it was lavender essential oil. We don't use any harsh fragrances or artificial fragrances. And we only use essential oils that are safe to use when you're pregnant or nursing as well. But lavender is one of our taglines is if sunscreen and a spa day had a baby, you get Mama Soul. And so I don't know any other sunscreen line that's kind of going after that angle or market. For me, it was like, okay, if it's in a pretty bottle, first of all, it's in a pretty glass bottle. All of our sunscreens are either in glass, the body is in 100% sugarcane tube. If it's sitting on your counter, you're going to be reminded to use it every day, right? And then number two, the sensory experience, the way it smells. Like some of our spas will do a sensorial experience. They'll rub it in their hands. They'll let the client smell it before applying it. And it feels like it's a part of your facial or, your massage or whatever it is that you're getting at the spa. And so I said, how can I bring that home? And that's why we decided to use that.
So you've put lavender in your products as well, I'm assuming. Link
Yeah,
there.
so we formulated with lavender essential oil, the face sunscreen, body sunscreen. The lip does not have it because it's going on your lips, but
Yeah.
anything that's like just your like skincare infused with sunscreen, we'll use that. Yeah.
And so as someone that's worked a lot in the beauty industry and cosmetic industry and everything else, how did this dream, apart from, you're like, I just need it, how did you come from just having this idea, finding someone to help you, and then creating it into this beautiful product you've got in so
Oh,
many different places?
it has been a labor of love. So I wrote the business plan in 2017. I was 5 months pregnant and laid off from my job. And I said, wow, like who's going to hire me right now? But at the same time, I also had already come up with this idea for Mama Soul. I started writing the business plan. I was let go on a Friday, 5 months pregnant. What to do? Well, Monday morning, I woke up and started writing the business plan. So started putting my feelers out, teamed up with a co-founder a year and a half later, and I just kept at it. This has been such a passion of mine. The beauty industry in itself is such a passion for me. Absolutely love product development and creating products that people love. So it just makes me so happy. Creating products that make people feel beautiful and excited to use. So I just kept at it. And in 2023 is when we launched our first product. It took a long time. I had 2 kids since writing the business plan. The pandemic happened. I bought a home. I mean, so many crazy things had happened. And so in 2023, 3 weeks after launch, we were organically featured on Access Hollywood. That really got us our start. Like we were like, okay, now we have something here. We can start pitching, out to these high-end luxury spas. So I just started knocking on doors, honestly, around. I made a list of high-end spas in my area. I was living in Los Angeles. We just moved to Orange County in California, but a year ago. But I started just knocking on doors and saying, we were just featured on Access Hollywood and we're this great mineral sunscreen line. I would love to be sold here. And so we got a yes, I would say 9 times out of 10. And now we're in over 75 high-end spas and resorts, and we're used in the last step of a facial routine. And this is a big year for us because not only did we get on Bloomingdale's this month, but we just booked the Today Show for May 1st, and I'm going to be on QVC in May, June, and July, which is really exciting.
Yeah, amazing. But I also love that you weren't deterred by being let off. Instead, it kind of just put this fuel in you instead of like, no, I'm going to bring this product no matter what. Because sometimes people would be put in that pity spiral, but instead you used it as a chance to actually, no, I'm going to do what I want. And I want to.
I let myself grieve for like 2 days, and I was like really sad. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, this sucks. And then I was like, okay, this is the perfect time for me to get clear on what I want for my life. And it took a long time, but I just like stuck at it. Like I really just like never ever looked a different direction. After I gave birth, I went back to work and I worked for several different companies as like a head of sales for, packaging and formulation. And I worked with other brands, scaling their brands. And I kept thinking like, this is actually great because I'm learning from all these other brands of like what not to do or what to do. And I learned like so much that I would not have been ready to launch any sooner than I did. Like I needed to go through all of those things. But my point is that I worked 2 jobs. I mean, I was working my job and Mama Soul for all of those years. I never stopped. I had 3 monitors in front of me, just going back and forth to like Mama Soul for this part of the day, and then my whatever job I was at the other part of the day. And I did that for a long time. And just this only a year ago went fully into Mama Soul. And when I did, that's when all of the good things I just listed started taking off and happening for us.
Well, it's such a lesson in energy, right? Because your energy was divided across what you wanted to do and what you felt you had to do to keep a roof over your head and keep the money coming in. And it's only once you shifted and put 100% in that the energy that was being divided suddenly could pull all those things to life and get them to align, which is, I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, why are you putting your energy over here? You hate it. Or you're just doing it because you need to.
Well, Catherine, like I had a psychic reading it's been a little over a year ago. She said, you need to leave your job before you're ready. And I was like, I can't, I'm the breadwinner. Like, this is like, I'm supporting my family. Like I can't leave my job. And she was like, she goes, she said, no matter what, you're going to be successful, but this is the difference. She said, if you leave your job before you're ready, it's going to be like a rocket ship to success. But if you wait, then it's going to be more like a boat ride and you're going to go a lot slower. And I didn't listen. I just kept, working. But at the same time, I wrote in my journal the day before. I'm going to tell you a crazy story. Last December, I think it was like New Year's Eve, actually, I had written in my journal, because I was working for a job. The writing was on the wall that like they were like letting people go left and right. But I was like just hanging on by a thread because I was like, I'm not going to start working for another job. I want if I'm going to leave, I want to go do Mama Soul. So I just kept hanging on. But at the same time, I knew energetically that it was really not aligned for me. So I wrote in my journal, I said, this job feels like a heavy weight on my ankles. I can't wait to break free. And I kid you not, the next day, I received an email letting me go from my job. And I was like, oh my God, be careful what you wish for. But at the same time, I was like, this is exactly what I needed because I wasn't listening. Like I was literally being told like, leave your job. It's time. And I just wasn't listening. And so the universe, when it has its plans for you, it's going to make it happen no matter what. So that morning I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And then 15 minutes later, I was like, oh my God, I can do Mama Soul. Yeah. And I got so excited, and so many things ended up happening, and huge life changes happened right after this. That's actually right when the Palisades fire happened. We ended up leaving LA, moving out of our home. So I could tell you a whole nother story. So it's just, my point is that all the big life changes that did end up happening is what allowed me to go all into Mama Soul and financially not worry about having another job.
Yeah. Which it's lovely when things align like that and just go
Yeah.
click, 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 click. And, it's that because you had written that intention and you had that realization, actually, no, like I don't want to do this anymore. The universe
Yeah.
went, okay, let's make it happen
Yeah.
for her. No backseats.
That's right. Right. Exactly. And I'm thankful. I mean, I feel very blessed, even though it was like some tough love that I had to go through. It was the right thing.
Yes, it's always interesting when you could choose to be intentionally courageous, have your intentional courage and where you actually like, okay, I'm going to embrace this and go for it. Or I have this other thing called accidental courage where you're backed in a corner and you have to be courageous anyway.
Yes.
So it's like, why not
exactly.
choose to make your own path rather than the universe just keeps throwing you into the right one, which is a bit more violent in the system of your nervous
Yes.
system than
Totally.
I chose this way. I'm going to keep walking this path.
Yes. Exactly.
And for those parents who are curious or even mums or dads even, because even dads wear sunscreen, let's be honest, everyone.
Yeah. Everyone should be wearing it.
What's some benefits that you found from your product that makes it different from others? Apart from there's no toxins.
Well, first, let me explain the difference between mineral and chemical sunscreen, because a lot of people may not know that. So chemical sunscreen, well, I'll start with mineral. So mineral sunscreen sits on top of your skin like a physical shield, and it physically reflects. That's why people call it physical sunscreen, because it physically reflects UV rays. It's much less likely to penetrate into this, deep into the deeper layers of the skin and end up in your bloodstream. Whereas chemical sunscreen like oxybenzone, octosoli, avobenzone, octinoxate, all of those enzones type of in the active ingredient list, those are chemicals. And while I don't like to talk bad about any sunscreen, honestly, because I think if you want to, I prefer that somebody wears it versus not wearing it, because the effects from not wearing it are much more dangerous, like getting melanoma, than it is, having some chemicals on your skin. But chemical sunscreen has to absorb into the skin in order to work. It converts the UV rays into heat in the skin, and it takes about 20 minutes to work, whereas physical sunscreen works right away, right when you put it on. Mineral sunscreen ours, particularly the reason ours is different. So we don't use any silicones in our sunscreen. The reason a lot of brands do use silicones in their formula is to suspend zinc oxide. It prevents separation, but it also tends to clog your pores, and they're also not biodegradable. Environmentally and for your skin health, we decided we didn't want to use that. And that, when we decided not to use silicones, that had not really been done before. When we made this decision, it was it was a big deal. It took a long time to formulate because of that. So we use alternatives instead that are much cleaner for your skin. And so that's one of our biggest differences. The entire line is pregnancy and nursing safe, down to like the flavor of something. We're non-GMO, vegan, cruelty-free, all the good things. And then our packaging super sustainable as well. So we also don't do anything other than mineral sunscreen. So like a lot of the brands people have heard of, like Supergoop, Coola, Elta MD, Dune, all of these big name sunscreens, they may offer mineral, but they mostly offer chemical. And so when you go to Mama Soul, you know that you're only getting like the cleanest vetted ingredients.
Yeah, I'm so glad you explained the difference between mineral and chemical sunscreen, because that is where all the issues are coming from, where people are putting the chemical on and it's going through the layers and entering the bloodstream. So
Right.
thank you for emphasizing that difference. I had
Well,
no
that's
idea.
what But that's what caused my panic when I first created Mama Soul, is because I read that it was ending up in breast milk. And here I was 5 months pregnant, and 90% of the sunscreens on the market had oxybenzone, which is the ingredient to be found in breast milk. So I was just like, oh my God, why is this ingredient? I mean, it's still on the market today and it's not safe. That is really, that was my why, and why we created this.
Yeah, which is so awesome. I was just going to ask about your tinted lip products.
Our tinted lip oils are absolutely like a top seller for us. We like I don't think any person that has tried them has said one negative thing about them. And I'll tell you why. So they're 100% mineral tinted lip oils, SPF 20. They come in 2 shades, Rise and Shine. One's like a warm toasty nude and the other is like a rosy pink, very soft, subtle color. The number one thing we get is they're not sticky. They have 0 sunscreen taste. We call it the love child of a lip balm and a lip gloss. And it also helps make your lips appear more plump and fuller. It was a passion project for me because I suffered for a long time from chronically dry lips, especially in the winter. I'm a skier, so I'm skiing. Like, this was such a great thing to pack in my bag. I was like, I remember being at the ski resort and all they had was these lip balms with sunscreen in them and they taste disgusting. And I literally would just be like, wipe them right off. And then my lips would get burned or they would have windburn and they would be dry. And so now that I have Mama Soul, our formula, I just went skiing this past winter and I was like, oh my God, like this, it was like the last 2 winters was when we launched it. It was the first time that my lips weren't like dry and burned, having to rub the chapping off. And so, I can't highly recommend anybody listening to try them.
And I also love that you're like, I tried it and it worked.
Yes, it does. We test all of our formulas out in the wild before we launch them. So you can rest assured that like we really, like, they haven't just been tested in the third-party lab, FDA, but like they've also been tested by many, many women and moms and men. My husband is a surfer. He tests it for me too.
I love it. And as a mom, as an entrepreneur, what have you found has been something to come back to, like to find that balance in your life? Because I know sometimes for me personally, it can be really hard to commit to your business and at the same time commit to being a mom.
Yeah, no, it's so hard. Like, I think for me, I've finally gotten into like a schedule where the mornings I work, second my kids go to school, I'm on my computer, I'm working. Then I have to go pick them up. And I pick them up around 2:30 in the afternoon, which is really early for me. So it's not great. But I essentially what I've done is from 2:30 until after dinner. And then my husband comes home at different times. He'll take over and I will either go back to work or I'll work when the kids are asleep if I have to. But it's really important to me to at least give them my undivided attention when I'm with them, because growing up, I grew up with a mom she's a very successful eye surgeon. She was always working, she really couldn't make it to any of my sports events. She was traveling a lot. And I remembered that. And I was just like, I'm not gonna, she's the best mom in the world and my best friend. But I wanted to make sure that I showed up for everything I possibly could for my kids. And I didn't have family dinners every night. So we try to do that with my kids because that's something I think they'll remember, that we had that time together. And so I think, although, yeah, I'm going to have to answer an email sometimes when I'm with my kids, I'm not perfect. I really, really try to put my phone down when I'm with them.
Yeah. And also they see you as a mom kicking butt, doing what she's passionate about as well. And I feel sometimes that's, where someone said to me once that we are creating the freedom for our children that we yearn for ourselves as well.
100% agreed.
And in your case, also creating better products that aren't going to create toxic reactions in our body by putting them on the skin to try and prevent something else from happening.
Yeah. I mean, and another thing in addition to that, but people don't realize, is that a lot of our sunscreens and a lot of our skincare products are housed in plastic packaging. And so just like in a water bottle, microplastics are going to get into your water. They get into our skincare formulations. And I have a little mini podcast of my own. It's like a little expert series I do, and I interviewed this functional health medicine doctor, and she said one of the number one reasons that women's hormones are out of balance is because of microplastics. And so that was really eye-opening. And so in addition to not having like chemical leaching into the soils and all of that, we're also mitigating microplastics from entering into the formula and going directly on your skin as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Because plastics are becoming a bigger issue. Even, you go to the shops and you're desperate for a drink. I refuse to drink tap water. That's a whole other podcast, and it's like, well, what do I do? The only options are, to go back, wait till I get home, or buy something in because water does not really come in glass. And then the plastic is degrading already because it's under the lights. But, so you've got that battle. But then to think you're like, oh, I'm doing something good for my skin. I'm putting on this healthy product, but then it's already have all the plastics leaching in it too.
I think the manufacturers, of course they do their best. They fill it in a way that should not be leaching anything into the formula, but just same with the water bottles. It's going to end up, anytime you're using plastic, you have that risk of the microplastics entering into your bloodstream. So
yeah, 100%. And as we start to finish our time together, Arielle, I asked the guests that come on the show, if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
Wow. With all that's going on in the world, I would say just everybody to pay it forward and just pass more kindness and love to one person, because I believe very much in the butterfly effect. And I just think if people put more love into their everyday and just were more giving and more aware of what they're grateful for, and they exuded that energy outward, that it would spread and it would affect so many people and they don't even realize. So I try to do that. I really do try to do that every day.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. And if people want to come and check out Mama Soul or buy some for themselves or connect with you, where can they go?
So you can purchase Mama Soul on shopmamasoul.com. And I'm gifting everybody a discount code Willow Healing 15 for 15% off of anything on the site that you want to try. And we'll have our new products out by the time you watch this or listen to this. And you can follow us at shopmamasoul.com on Instagram and all of our other socials as well.
Beautiful. And I'll make sure to pop all those details in the show notes, including the generous discount code that you've given as well. And for anyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode or you feel that there's someone who needs this sunscreen in your life, feel free to share, or subscribe, and go check out Mama Soul, because sometimes as moms, we need to find products that honor us, but also that support our children as well. So thank you, Arielle, for being on the show. Really appreciate your gift that you've brought to this world of creating something so amazing.
Thank you, Catherine.
Are you looking for an afternoon boost to support you until the children go to bed, or to get through that evening meeting? Why not reach for a cup of ceremonial cacao? It will boost your energy, reduce your inflammation, and also allow you to go to sleep at a decent hour. For more information on how to grab your ceremonial cacao, check out the link in the show notes for 10% off.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.